Call the meeting of the Bay County Veterans Affairs Committee to order on Tuesday, May 20th, 2025, the fourth floor of the board chambers. Roll call, please.
Yik. President Eckstein.
Here.
Here.
Van Digby.
Here.
Van Tol.
Here.
Stewart. Here. Beaver.
Here.
Fowler.
Here.
And Kazmir.
Here.
Thanks.
Good. We have a quorum. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Got the minutes from 3/18/25.
Make a motion to accept the minutes from 3/18/25.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We got citizen input, too much today. Petitions, communications, probably cover most of them further on here. Reports and resolutions, Department of Veterans Affairs first quarter statistics. And you need a motion to receive. Well, we'll have them go over them first of all. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just the quarterly statistics for the first quarter of the county for the calendar year. I've changed it up so you guys don't have to try to deal with the fiscal year calendar year like we have to, so you'll see it now says calendar year, so it all makes sense. So it's the hours, the amount we've spent for emergency relief, transportation markers, et cetera, trust fund, and then the second part is just some of the county service stuff that gets tracked.
Any questions? I saw a gentleman on the corner of Thomas and Euclid who said he was an Iraqi veteran. It's a different guy than had been out there before, so I'll have to stop and ask him, where's your DD 214? And he'll say, I don't know, what's that? No.
They'll say it's classified.
I don't know.
I like to say that.
I asked one guy in the Super Cafe, and you can come up with him. He's an older guy, so.
Is that the guy that's got his granddaughter with him sometimes?
There's been a lady out there a few times, but not I haven't seen the granddaughter, but this was a new guy. I hadn't seen him before.
My wife and I talked to the lady. She says, I'd like to the VA. I said, well, lucky for you, I'm on my way there now. We can drop it off for you if you'd like to ride. She turned around and walked off.
Yeah.
It's the lady that stands there.
Yeah.
Collecting for the VA.
Yep.
It's very nice. Hard to find volunteers.
We need a motion to receive the report.
I'll make a motion we receive the service officer's report.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We have old business, emergency relief policy review and recommend sending to Corporation Council for review. So I need a motion before we discuss it.
I make a motion that we approve our emergency relief policy.
A second.
Discussion? Now we can talk about it. So maybe Chad, you want to go?
So last time that we were here, we had discussed that there were some changes that needed to be made with the verbiage. Specifically, one of the key factors in determining whether or not a grant is justified, this is the second paragraph here. You'll notice that in the first sentence, it says the key factor in determining whether or not a grant is justified is the ability of the applicant to manage the obligation for which aid is requested after a grant is made. That after was italicized. And then the only other change that was required was page 3 of 5 under guidelines for emergent needs. That was the material change of food and gas cards may, if needed, be applied for once every 3 months, quarterly, not to exceed 2 consecutive years of utilization And then the following sentence, eligibility will then resume after 1 calendar year. The 2 points that were of note, the 2 consecutive years of utilization, then prompting the eligibility break, which will then resume after 1 calendar year.
Any other questions? Yeah, that indigent word is still in there. Bay County resident must be an indigent, which hopefully someday will be defined, maybe at the legislative level. You know, as far as I know, it's still pending with Senator Daley that, and I think Alex had been working on that when he was with them too. So it's been in the process for a couple of years now, but legislation takes a while to get through sometime. So they have other priorities, so.
Currently, we use indigency as defined by this policy to be approved. That portion has not changed over the course of our talks here. That is defined as 165% of the federal poverty limit,
Okay.
which is noted on page 2 of 5.
Okay,
And then that is determined by the number in the household.
okay,
And then the 165% that coordinate or corresponds appropriately. So one person, $24,849, that is 165% of the federal poverty limit.
okay,
That's from the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
yeah. That's a little more generous than the Medicaid. The Medicaid had been the 120, it went up to like 130 something in the pandemic, and I think it's still there. They haven't taken it back yet, but they're talking about scaling that one back to the lower level again.
I'll let this close, and then I'll make a comment here that is peripheral but not specifically to this policy. So if you want to make your motions.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I just got a question on number in the household. Are we talking the veteran and his dependents? Or are we talking the veteran and his parents and his aunts and uncles? Or is it,
We operate under the, there is a provision in here. We find it, it's the second paragraph under the eligibility requirements. So just beneath what we were previously looking at with the income thresholds.
for parents?
The second paragraph about the individual applying must be a Bay County resident, wartime veteran, or the indigent veteran's spouse, minor children, or parents of a deceased veteran. If you read further, we define a minor child, biological child, or legally adopted before the age of 18, and so forth. The policy of the office, if they are legally recognized as a dependent child or a significant other, to mean a spouse, that's when we allow for that. We have had issues of cohabitation, but being that that's not legally recognized, I have not accepted that. I've given them the policy to review and explain that, so that way they understand through transparency what we are operating from, and then they can make their changes as they seek. I don't advise them to get married is what my point is.
I just got another question. When do we no longer count a child when are they over 18? We no longer count them as member of the household?
Correct, for this purpose. So we do have individuals that have, a lot of times it's grandparents that are veterans that have taken children in from, or taking grandchildren in from their children. But if those children are staying there and attending school or working, if they're not dependent upon the grandparents legally, meaning they're not linked to their taxes, they're over the age of 18, they're their own functioning member of society, we don't count them.
Right. As long as they're over 18, they're on their own. But getting into that other one with grandparents taking care of their grandchildren,
Or younger.
Now that then stems from the legal adoption
well,
proceeding.
but you didn't say legally adopted. So if the grandparents legally adopt their grandchildren, they're covered under here.
Yes, and
But
if they
don't-
maintain guardianship,
Well, even if they got guardianship, I would go with that, the court orders them to be the guardians, they would fall within this guideline.
and they do, I believe as written,
As long as the paperwork's in place and these words are now your responsibility by a court, 100% cover them within the household.
So the verbiage without explicit mention of the guardianship, in that second paragraph, after the 18 years of age is established, this is about midway through, it says the child must be under the age of 18 or have become permanently incapable of self-support before attaining age 18, or be between the ages of 18 and 23 pursuing a course of instruction at an approved educational institution. That component does not come up. That leans into the GI Bill. That's a different provision. But the self-support, if they're a ward of the state, if they're, oh my goodness.
Guardianship or?
Not guardianship, there is another term. No. It
Ward of the
is,
Emancipated minor? Emancipated minor?
no, not emancipated minor. I'm speaking of who would be over the age of 18 but still considered a dependent that would fall under this provision.
If they were
Special
per- if they-
needs.
If they
Yes.
were permanently disabled before their
Special
18th
needs or
birthday,
Right.
that was in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Looks pretty thorough.
Like,
Thank you. Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll call Dan.
There's one change here on the Memorial Day
No,
schedule.
no, we're not talking about that right now. We're on the policy.
All right.
There's a motion on the floor.
Yep.
That'll come up.
Okay, any more questions? Otherwise, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, counsel, it's all yours.
You have another question then? Do you have another question?
All right, there's a change on the schedule.
Oh, okay. That's coming up.
Going to the Edson, it's now at 1:30, not 2 o'clock.
Which one now?
The last item,
The Edson, 1:30?
yeah, it's 1:30 now.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
got
we do have it
changed,
further on here, but,
Earlier in the week.
yeah. Probably go through the whole schedule later on here. Okay, so we got that one done. We have the transportation updates.
So the transportation update is, we have begun utilizing the vet lift program that is provided federally by the VA. The number is 877-838-5438. It is a successful program. It has been running for 2 years. We have our own riders that have since transitioned, especially if we don't have drivers for the days that they have appointments on. Here's an update, we did lose a driver officially. Pat Bannigan had resigned over the ticket that was previously mentioned, I believe, 2 meetings ago. He felt it was his time to leave, and we thanked him for his service. He was outstanding throughout the course of duty to us and him volunteering. We were able to retain a counterpart of his, so we still maintain 3 of 5 days service. That's Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Outside of that update, I have begun taking DD-214s to coincide with the appropriate policy that they must be an honorable or generally discharged veteran in order to fall under the emergency relief component and utilize our services. So now that they are scheduling rides, instead of scheduling a ride and just being provided a ride, there is some sort of a verification there that they are eligible to be riding.
There's been talk at, Bay Future, Great Lakes Bay, about transportation in the area, about transportation between Bay City and Saginaw and Bay City and Midland, and it's been a tough nut to crack because they got to get all those agencies to come together, and there's millages involved, and so it's not been an easy solution to the transportation issue. So I know we've got the tool, if you can get to Saginaw Valley, then you can catch a bus from Saginaw Valley to Saginaw, but you still got to get to Saginaw Valley, so.
I got a question for Chaz. On the vet program, the drivers, does the county have to reimburse that program at all, or is that all federal?
That is all federally funded.
So if all our veterans transitioned to that program, that would allow more money to be utilized for emergency needs.
It would, without this expanding beyond the scope of what we're talking about for like the fallout, if you will, with no connotation there as to negative, it will change a lot. You're aware that our service grant has changed, and so we were already losing funding. They have limited us that we are not, we are now excluded from capital purchases, so that would include vehicles. So a lot will change. We are aware that I had mentioned we were able to retain a driver who was considering leaving. We are aware that a different driver will have an effective leave date of September. And so the ongoing consensus here with Director Beaver's approval is we will phase this out by allowing everyone who is utilizing our system, we will continue to provide at maximum capacity that we can and continue to provide them with the transportation line for the vet lift. And anywhere from now until September that we can make adjustments or further learn about the system and mitigate any uncertainty, we will do that. But around September, we will have 2 drivers, and should that individual leave, it could be presumed another individual will leave as well. That would leave us with 1 functional driver, 3 vehicles, and that will be I will limit it there. As I said, I don't want this to expand too far, but that is going to be a conversation we will need to have, because we do not, now that we have the access to the vet lift program and we can foresee that this is useful, it helps us change our pathway from recruitment and retention to figuring out what we want to fund next.
You mentioned the funding. There is a bill that's been introduced in the House to fund it fully again, but I haven't heard that it's moved or anything yet. So if I see anything, I'll let you know. But it's been moved by one of us, a former commissioner. She was a county commissioner on our board, so she's looking out for the county. So, all right. Any other questions? I don't think we need any motion since there's no expenditures or anything, so. No, the vehicles are fairly good shape right now, or you're
I'd like to say that program's awesome, so we're hoping that will eventually take over and it can save us a lot of money and liability and whatnot, so it's a good thing, but the vehicles are good right now.
Yeah.
But the office will still be there to inform the veterans, hey, here's the number, here's this, here's how you call. You can still assist them with the logistics of getting in touch with the vet lift.
We do, and we will continue to do so, and it makes a little bit more sense the way this is set up. This is actually ran through Adam Hayward Lupo's office, which is within the VA itself, so should they have an appointment, it's great to have a point of contact within the very building you're receiving care and have those appointments made. And as to the condition of the infrastructure, I just replaced the brakes on one of the vans. I believe it was the silver van. So all of them have had recent brake or tire upgrades. All of them have had their oil changes on time. We have no other electrical or physical, mechanical issues whatsoever. So everything is running just as it should.
Good.
I want to slowly go into it because I just always want our Bay County residents to have a driver no matter what, never miss appointments. So we're going to take our time with it. Chaz and I went down to Saginaw VA, talked to Adam, and I wanted to really make sure it's a full-fledged program. So it was very good to hear, and I think it's going to be a great thing in the future. But just want to slowly into it, make sure it's all we want it to be for our people. So if that helps.
How far ahead do they have to schedule? Does that have to be the day before?
24 hours, right, Chaz?
3 days.
Or no, 3 days. 3 days.
3 days?
3 days, yes.
Yeah.
But they have ample time from the moment that they are given their appointment, either physically in person or physically by notice with a mailer or through their app on their phone or online or telephonically. They will be reminded as well. There's many different opportunities that far precede that 72-hour timeline. And as long as they are within 72 hours, there's still some exceptions that can be made. The only difficulty that really has shown itself is the customary aspect, the traditional aspect of we have been operating, we have been providing the service, and so until everyone is operating at on the same page that we are phasing out and that this new program exists and can handle this, there's going to be some hiccups. We have had one individual try and make a call for the area, and they were advised, we'll call Bay County Department of Veteran Affairs, they'll do that for you. And that individual needed to be informed that this particular day we did not have a driver, and so then he was taken onto their roster. But it's been a game of custom. This is the way it's been done. This is how we'll do it, and that's always going to have some growing pains when we're changing from that.
But we did get feedback from people who took it, and it was all positive, so that helps.
They say they're extremely courteous, that the facilities are great, the vehicles themselves, the drivers, they will pick you up and take you wherever it is that you need to go, no questions asked. You've already filled out your information beforehand, so honestly, the review was flawless. It went better than... It was very ideal, I'll say that. When I was given the review, I was waiting for something, they went to the wrong house, or they didn't return me, or something. Nope, it was great.
Good.
That's good.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. New business. We have a case 2025-01, emergency relief request, new furnace.
So we have an individual that meets all criteria and standards. They've been very cooperative. They have provided all of the necessary documentation needed. I would approve this myself if I had the ability. I'm sure Director Beaver would as well, but it exceeds the cost allowance. So it is over $3,000. The two quotes that we have to replace the gentleman's furnace in question, 38, excuse me, I just wrote that. The second copy? Where did we just said that? Forgive me, there it is. $3,810 is Smith Heating and Cooling's quote, which is $1,200 less than All Seasons quote, which was $6,000. Again, this is for a full furnace replacement. The individual qualifies, honorable service during a wartime period. He is indigent, and he has been patiently waiting and has already provided all of the income statements. He doesn't make much, Social Security, that's it. We're just looking for the approval to move ahead because of the dollar figure exceeds our physical ability to do so.
Sounds like a reasonable price for a furnace. I got one a few years ago, it was $5,000, but that was air-end furnace at the same time, so, but.
And this is just a furnace, no air conditioning?
No,
the furnace.
no, it just the furnace, comes with all standard guarantees. And I believe the reasoning for such a gap as $1,200 was because Smith was acknowledging the veteran being a veteran. That was it. That was articulated to me.
Is this a high-efficiency furnace?
I believe it is. I'm actually trying to pull up the quote here.
In the future with lower gas bills too.
It should be.
I would make a motion, we approve this expenditure.
Support. Any more discussion?
But the other one, I'm sorry for the notes, the other one was 6,000, this one's 3,800? So
Correct.
2,200 difference? Got it.
Or yes, I said, what did I say, 12?
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, 22.
Oh, 22, okay, thanks. 22, got it. Van Tool, got it.
Any more questions? Otherwise, I'll call the question. I should probably do a roll call because it's money. So do a roll call vote.
Beagle?
Yes.
Exton?
Yes.
Digby?
Here, yes.
Van Tool?
Yes.
And Stewart?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, motion passes.
Just a final point of order here. The point of information, rather, for, I believe, Troy, you asked this. It was you, actually, John. It is a high efficiency.
That's good.
It's denoted here.
That's a good price.
Oh, yeah.
That's good, yeah, that's a good deal. And what was the company again?
That was Smith Heating and Cooling.
Smith. Thank Here, let's get this.
If there is any changes, I'll make this known as well. This has been waiting for approximately 26 days. So if there's any change with the quotation, I will bring that back and we'll discuss.
So you will call and inform them, hey, it's a go, let's do it?
I will, because we need what we don't have now, because we didn't know which quote necessarily we'd go with. We will need a vendor form, create the relationship with the county, then pay it. So he will be informed as soon as I leave this meeting, and then we will work together to make that, tie off that loose end.
Hopefully his furnace is still working good enough to get him through.
A little chilly out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's that spring at?
That's a big county company, right?
Okay, all set?
I know.
Memorial Day 2025 schedule. And I think this usually goes to the Vets Council, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And
That came right from
Approval.
the president.
Okay. So I don't see any major changes. Bay County Building,
Nope.
Oak Ridge, the 2 spots in Oak Ridge, the Bay County. We have different units. Fremont Cemetery is the VFW out there in Beaver, 6950. Plav and DAV at St. Stan Cemetery. Hampton Township. Auburn Vet Memorial, the Beaver Group.
After the county building, the troops will separate to their own ceremonies.
Okay, different groups, okay.
Then we get together back at Floral Gardens.
We have the Vietnam Vet one at 10:45. American Legion. DVA, Military Order of the Purple Heart, okay. Zion. St. Patrick's. St. Valentine's, Long. St. Anne's, Calvary, Floral Garden Cemetery. Website, Nick? Yeah, we post on our website. And then the Edson, you say, has been moved up to 1:30 instead of the 2 o'clock, so we'll come from Floral Gardens and meet there. Yep, everybody's invited. I'll make an announcement in our meeting today.
One thing, the Vets Council is having trouble getting replacement flags for the Veterans Park flagpoles. The money coming from
The foundation, Bay Area Veterans, the Bay Area Foundation,
one over in the old bus barn. Can't think of the name of it.
So that's the one along the river, the
Yeah, that's,
memorial.
last year, we bought, or
Yeah.
VVA bought them,
Yeah,
and been trying for 2 years to get the group to part with our money.
Yeah.
Just don't want to do it.
yeah. And I think somebody told me it was the city plot at one time, or the city was taking care of the flags, but hadn't been doing that lately. And then Mike Burke
Yeah,
said
Mike
he was
Burke.
doing it.
Mike Burke would get the money from the foundation because the foundation, there's money in the foundation to maintain some of our monuments and that's where the money should be coming out from the flags, because that's maintaining
Yeah,
that. So money should come there. I would get with Mike Burke and say, who did you talk there?
Well, he's tried to get the money. As secretary, I sent 2 letters last year and this year to the foundation requesting money for flags. Nope.
Well, then I think we might want to approach the Bay County Commission and say, hey, we've been trying to get our money out of our foundation for our monuments, and they're not helping. No, they're not spending the money on the monuments like they should be,
yeah.
and
Vets
maybe the
Council,
county can put some pressure on them.
yeah, you have money, the Vets Council have money in the foundation, you put money into it.
To maintain the,
I know somebody over there, Shauna Walraven, used to be with the county, so maybe I'll have to take a little walk. It's not too far away, so, yeah, I'll see what I can do. I can talk to her.
the And I also talked to Chaplain Charlie Campbell. And Memorial Day is a very special day for everybody, but to go to every cemetery here and here and there,
Yeah,
he proposed like having one ceremony on the east side, right here at the county building, one ceremony on the west side
Yeah.
at the Bay Veterans Monument
Right.
on the west side of the river, do a Jewish cemetery, a Catholic cemetery, an interdenominational cemetery. And that way you can, the veterans that are going to all these, they're not out there from 8:30 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, so they don't have any time. You could really consolidate this and shorten the day up for the volunteers that actually go out there and perform those services. I would like to see the Vets Council
yeah, so
go
that's
towards
council,
that.
that's council's decision, so if
And
Van
I-
wants to take that back.
And I still don't agree with all units going here. Everybody meets here, everybody meets here,
Yeah,
and then, oh, you go off your own way.
yeah,
Because if you did this, those veterans that are providing the remembrance for our fallen heroes, they don't have time to spend with their family.
We're talking about 2 services total, one east.
Well, there's like
one
4 or
west.
5. One on the east side, one on the west side, a Jewish cemetery, an interdenomination cemetery, and a Catholic cemetery. In the Catholic cemeteries, you can move throughout the whole county. So one year it's St. Stan's, next one is St. Valentine's or whatever. And the same thing with, and Floral Gardens is an interdenominational one, which is huge, the biggest one in the
it's a
county.
big one. And the ship is a big one too. So it's a Vets Council thing, so I'm on the Vets Council as soon as I make a meeting. The vans are usually regularly, so we'd have to work on it over the next year to try to
Yeah.
get the change.
We'll look at it.
And they'll be pushed back. We sort of tried before, we actually tried to talk about doing a parade. I think Mike Burgandy brought it up at one of our meetings a few years ago about doing a parade or doing like a one big ceremony.
That's been brought up from somebody from Saginaw County. When they do theirs,
Yeah.
they go to the one spot, and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, they go to the
Their big
Memorial
memorial.
Plaza.
yeah,
They have a parade, starts downtown and ends right at the Memorial Plaza.
yeah,
And then they lay a wreath at the base of their flagpole.
yeah,
And they got different monuments within there, but
right,
Saginaw also has other monuments, not just at the
Right.
Memorial Plaza. They're
They
throughout
have
the
the one.
county too.
yeah, we really don't have, I mean, the county is sort of a big one, but we don't have one big main one that honors all of them,
Well, Memorial Days are for those that have fallen in action, and
right?
the names that we have of our heroes that have fallen in action are right here in front of the county building.
Yeah,
So this
supposed to be a east side maybe location, and then,
is the east side location, and the
Yeah.
west side would be Betts Park,
yeah, yeah,
at the memorial over there, and
On the
then just
river.
look at a couple other cemeteries.
yeah. I'll try to make a meeting, and we'll try to bring it up at the Vets Council for next year. All right, any other miscellaneous topics? Yes.
Yeah, this is real miscellaneous. Back in October, I bought a package to attend the air show at Willow Run. It's for Saturday, June 21st, Blue Angels. The tickets I bought are what's called Officers Club, so you've got a special parking area, shuttle that takes you to the venue, front row seats, the center of the flight line. It's got a big party tent, catered breakfast, catered lunch, morning snacks, afternoon snacks, beverages, all free, air-conditioned restaurant. And it was pricey. April, I enrolled or applied for a training it's a 2-year training program down in Bloomfield Hills, and I think it starts on the same day. So I mentioned this to somebody, they said, well, you could raffle the tickets off. If somebody, I'm not 100% sure, I'll know probably by 1 week from now if I have these tickets up. If somebody thinks they might want to go, or if they want to use these for a raffle, let me know. I'm not, like I say, not 100% sure at this point, but they're great tickets for a great show, and chances are I won't be able to go.
Will they let Spec 5s into the officers club?
Well,
E5s?
that's just what they call it. Yeah. They've got different levels,
Okay,
and this is hard to beat. If you're gonna go and spend a day there, this is the way to go. I mean,
Yeah.
it's first class.
That's
It's
good,
really
yeah.
good.
Andy's the only officer we have.
Yeah.
there's some raffle tickets. Yeah,
It was short notice to try to sell raffle tickets.
It's July though, right?
yeah.
I'm sorry?
It's July?
June.
Oh, June.
June
Yeah,
21st.
it's
yeah.
close.
1 month.
1 month from today.
It's a
You won't
Saturday.
know for another week maybe.
I probably won't know for a week, but, I mean, if somebody comes up with a good idea, I'm willing to, like,
Troy will buy them.
No, I'm not an officer.
You don't have to be an officer.
it's just what it's called. It's just what it's
Their
called.
meetings
They've
is-
got
yeah.
different levels.
Gotcha.
It's a sponsorship.
If nothing else can be done with them, and you come up with a fair exchange value or something, I'll pay for them as well.
You don't want to pay for them, I guarantee you.
Such a deal.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Any other miscellaneous or announcements, I guess?
So the American Legion chair up to the second deck is now installed and signed off as of about 2 hours ago, so we are up and running. We have a commercial chair put in. They lost their installer from the company, so I got a hold of a friend of mine that's an inspector, and he got a guy, and they put it in. We worked on it last Friday and Saturday, and they signed off on it today, so the second deck of the Legion is now official, legal, and our 1998 chair license has now been upgraded with the 2025 chair license, so the upstairs is now open for everybody. So the chair is remote, battery packs in the chair, we'll put directions on there, but down below, if the chair's at the top, you can turn the key, hit the call button, it'll come down, take you to the top and vice versa. And once you're on the chair, there's a lever on the right, push it to the right, takes you up, left brings you down, so it's
So
all
long
set.
stairs.
It's a lot of stairs, 20 steps, and they're pretty steep, so.
Yeah,
So it's available now, and people that can't do the stairs, and we fixed a lot of the stairs, cut a lot of the bed, rubber off the nose, the bull nose off, and fixed a lot of the bull noses, so it's all been cleaned up and redone, and it's all set. So it was a very long project in the making, but we finally got it under $10,000, where everybody that quoted this thing was twice that, so it was very expensive, but yeah.
I guess we got some old dudes still go up those stairs.
Yeah, we got it at cost, so it's a good thing, so.
Anybody else? Chat?
3 quick points here. The first one, the Bay Veterans Foundation has their VSO installed. So Keisha Counts she is an American Legion VSO. She is physically there Monday only right now, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There was at one time discussion, she may be there, may not be there. It's official, she is there Mondays, has been seeing clients. Just a quick reiteration, some of the things that she may do that we generally don't. Veterans law judge, counseling, any appeals that they may have, video conferences. In our chain of command, Mark will send generally his documentation as a county veteran service officer to the RO. She doesn't have that limitation. She is essentially one hierarchical step up. That's just for a conceptual understanding. I wanted to bring to everyone's attention that generally for emergency relief that I provide to the county, we have 2 options. The first, obviously, Soldier Sailor Relief Fund, but the second is the Michigan Veteran Trust Fund. I've had a few applications this year already. I believe we're at 3. One of them decided it was not in their interest to continue, so pulled back. One was approved. That one, I'll have to look back. That may be a holdover from last year that finished in this year. I'll get back to you on that. But was successful. And then the most recent one, and this is why I'm bringing this up, there has been changes at the state level at MVAA, Michigan Veteran Affairs Agency, overseeing the Michigan Veteran Trust Fund administratively. I have since been given the changes because I was not made aware of that. That's one of the hiccups and nuances with this system. As we facilitate the documentation compilation and we send it to them, we are unaware of what changes at their end until they make us aware, and then we kind of have to do a repeat. So we're doing that now. The last thing, there is a third option now. Brian Kraus, who leads the Bay County Habitat for Humanity, they have a Operation We Care Home program. It's a veteran repair program. And the neat thing about this program is I've got 2 people I referred, I haven't heard anything back, but 2 people I referred because of their income. If you're 100% VA disabled, the amount of money, generally $3,800 a month, the amount of money that you are making monthly will exceed our standard for helping them, the 165%. And so they are allowed to apply to MVTF, Michigan Veteran Trust Fund, and we will do that. But now there's a third option. One individual can have $44,640 as a gross income for the year and still apply. They cover things like roofs, gutters, downspouts, HVAC, so furnaces and boilers, electrical upgrades, accessibility ramps, weatherization, hot water heaters, porch repairs, appliance upgrade. The biggest thing being roofs. Roofing is the #1 request that comes through my office that people are seeking. And so this is just another opportunity. And I wanted to make everyone aware that, the field of play is expanding, and so our veterans are, being taken care of.
And just one clarification on what Keishan does over there with the veteran law judge. It's not that we can't do it, is the county does not want us to do that function.
So what days is she there? She has Monday, Wednesday?
Just Monday.
Just Monday only.
Yeah, so we do not do them. Other counties do. It just depends on your county and who.
8 to 5, 9 to 5?
8 to 5, I think
8
is
to 5.
her. But we do not do it. One, there's just not enough time. I mean, the prep, you're talking a couple of hours prep, reading into a case, looking at a case that you may not be familiar with, an hour or more talking with the veteran, an hour with the judge, an hour after. It's just, there's just not enough time.
She's an American Legion?
She is an American Legion, yes. She can only see American Legion clients, so they would have to switch POA over to them.
And where was her office at again?
She's at the Bay Veterans Foundation.
The Veteran Foundation over there?
That way.
Okay, so she's with Markstrom and,
Yeah, sorry.
That way.
Yes, I'm sorry.
North.
Yes, she has an office over there 1 day a week.
And we, to be clear, we're not in that ecosystem, if you will, outside of our professional roles. So if Keith decides he wants to change something with her office space or he has complete sovereignty to do that. That won't get communicated to us unless professionally done so by Keishan as she comes over. I just want you all to be aware of that one does not necessarily impact the other. We don't have a say in that.
How do you spell her name? Do you have that?
Kiesha.
N.
Yeah.
And counts.
Kiesha?
N.
N. And
Keishan.
then counts.
Counts like COUNTS.
Got it, thanks.
And then the other, having a female service officer helps with certain cases. In huge, in the 7 years I've done this, there's only been one time when someone didn't want to speak to a male service officer. That was when Crystal was still here, so thankfully we still had someone else that she would talk to. So I wasn't offended, I understand.
One last reminder, no funding from us. No impact.
No funding.
She's free.
Have their own, yeah.
However, Legion does handle a majority of our claims, so.
Yep.
And she can see them, but she has no oversight, basically. They go to the RO staff does it, and we have a very good working relationship with all of them, so.
Any other? I do have a little follow-up on Bay Veterans Foundation. They're growing. When we first started out, there was some pushback, but they seem to be doing well. They're getting grant money. They are going to be featured by the women's golf tournament. The PGA tournament in Midland is featuring them as an agency that they've helped through the years. They've given them money, they followed them around the course, and I think several years now they've been out there, and they get, some money out of it, $6,000, $7,000 or more, depending on how the golfer finishes. You get a set amount, base amount, and then if your golfer finishes first, you get a lot more money. So you cheer them on. That's what their role is, to follow them around. And they're being featured, and it's going to be a big PR event. It's going to be on the 28th. It's not open to the public, though, unfortunately. But it's going to be down there. They're going to have a tent set up, and they're going to have PR people from Dow coming in to look at what they do there. They do a lot of handicraft, a lot of woodworking, stuff like that. So they're going to have cameras going through and watching what the kids do. And they have kids come in, too, from the school, from one of the alternative high schools. So they're doing a lot of good things. And that's going to be on the 28th, but you got to get an invite. You can go on the board if you want, but
28 June.
that's the 28th, 10 to 12, Wednesday,
I was just gonna say.
May 28th. So it's next, the next week, Wednesday, next Wednesday, yeah.
God, thank you.
So you might see something in the paper or on the news about the event, because they're inviting the media to come in, so. Yep.
Just two things on the Veterans Foundation. One is they have laptops that are available over there
Still?
for any veteran that needs one. Generally, they prefer that you need one, not want one. But they do have a stash of them over there, so if anybody needs, just reach out to them, to either Mike or Keith, and they'll get you into getting you set up and make sure you can get one. The other thing is, once a month, Chaz and I go over and we do the coffee hour over there. So they have a variety of speakers from the community. They'll have VA representatives. They have us, our Ashton Hero, who's the Walking with Warriors counterpart in Saginaw. He's there. So it gives us an opportunity outside of our normal space to see people we may not normally see. So it's good.
Fourth Thursday.
Fourth Thursday of the month, correct.
10 to 12, 9 to 12, something like that.
9 to 11.
11. Yeah, it's open to anyone. Anyone can go over there. It's a
And
coffee hour.
it started out very small, and they were using their small back room. Now we have to sit in the workshop itself because there's so many people.
They're looking for another place. We just had a tour the other day of the place, and they also have counseling. They have counselors over there. They have PTSD classes, so they have a lot of services. They have guitars, if anyone wants a guitar. They've got a lot of programs going on right now, so.
The one point on the computers, all that's required is a DD-214.
Yep.
No wartime service, nothing like that, just a DD-214, and we have seen them. We've inspected these computers ourselves. Their quality, their Windows 10 Pro, I think we're on 10 or 11.
The other one's for
10
AT&T.
or 11
Yes.
down.
I think Neil's working on those, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So there has been some discussion about help, offering classes, if people need help getting logged in, how to get started, and
Neil Phelps, the guy's doing that. His son is the young man, Andrew, that does the buglers for us every year on Memorial Day. The real tall guy, that's Neil's son. Neil does the computers, his son Andrew does the bugle for all the ceremonies on Memorial Day, so, yeah. Neil's a Navy vet.
Yeah.
Right on.
Any other announcements? Mr. Barsha?
Yeah, just sorry I was tied up on a meeting and couldn't get in a little sooner, but it sounds like furnace got approved and you had another productive meeting.
Yep.
Right?
Thank you.
Good.
Motion to adjourn is always in order.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.